Okay, so in this video, we are gonna go over how to troubleshoot some of the errors. So, for example, now that you know how to display the breaker, you understand that we not only need the breaker, but we need to have an access to the variable it creates, and it needs to have the states changed. So, what if now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna again delete these entirely, let's say, right? Or actually, let's disable them because it does the same thing. And now I'm gonna try to compile it, and then we're gonna get into a little bit more details of how to hone in on what the error is referring to. So it's saying a project was unsuccessful when building, so it didn't even build, so it didn't even run the simulation. It's not an issue with the simulation; it didn't even build. And it says review build messages for more information. So you press OK, and you can see here the blue eye icons are essentially the messages, the yellows are warnings, and the reds are the errors, and it won't work. So interestingly enough, if you come here and you click on the ID and you click it, it shows you, number one, the component that's causing the issue. But before I even do that, why don't we just quickly go over what each of these mean? So right here is the ID, and each of these components, um, so whether it be this component, that component, this resistor, each of these have, or even as a matter of fact, even this time logic or the signal, every single one of these components have is very unique ID. So that is a very easy way to find out where the issue is coming from. So how can you look at the unique ID? So if I go back here, if you hover over it, you can see right there. The second thing, it says instance. That instance is the ID. You can see 1256271556, and then now if you look at the bottom screen here, that was lining up with the what's showing in that little pop-up. You look at the multimeter. It has an instance ID as well, and it has this instance ID as well. And then you look at this timed meter, even though I have it, time breaker logic, even though I have it disabled, it also has a component ID. And look at the signal names, they themselves also have a component ID as well. And then you could see here, so it's saying, hey, this is what's causing the issue. So now we know that. It's saying the component, it tells you even the name breaker 3. Again, if I hover over it, tells you the name of it, master semicolon breaker 3. And it's telling you the namespace where it resides. So you may have a lot of you may have a lot of cases right here. We only have one case. It's saying new case underscore 1. And again, it's so that case right there is lining up with that case right there. So now it's saying now onto the description. So the description is saying input parameter my breaker is floating. So it's just saying, hey, when I compile this, I created something called my breaker. And I was expecting some sort of an input, a 0 or a 1 or something, just like how you see it there. I have created it, but I never really received any sort of an input. Um, when I disable this right here, that means these don't even exist right now, right? For Pscad. So it did create the actual um, the actual signal, but it was expecting a value, but it just didn't receive it. And a lot of time when you say input parameter is floating, so a lot of times something like this happens. So you know what? I'm just gonna move. Um, so for example, if you, this won't throw an error. I was trying to find an input where, yeah, so like actually a lot of the time I'm going to enable this. I'm going to control E this. I'm just going to move this away. So a lot of the times, you forget getting a connection, and it would say, hey, input A is floating. So there's some connection which is not fully made, or there is a variable which is expecting a value into it, but it's just not getting it. So that's what that word floating generally would mean in your errors. So so yeah, anyway, coming back here, so it's just saying that my breaker is floating. So I'm just gonna disable this, bring that error back. Now, if you had clicked this, it would take you here, and then input parameter, and then if you double click this, how would you have known where that my breaker is sitting. So if you'd come breaker main data, you would see my breaker right there. Um, now